know what would help you sleep better at night.
The mistake. It being a mistake would make people better because as much as that's awful, at least you would know what happened. You go, okay, they left this here. They shouldn't have left this here. These assholes will go after the people we have to go after. But at least it's done then, as opposed to we're being attacked. Because then you have to retaliate. It's a whole thing. Much easier having it be a terrible mistake, a tragic mistake.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
That's true. You don't have to go to war. You don't have to
go to war.
Although
and you don't have to hate a group of people. You can be mad at people who are stupid assholes, and you hate the guards for doing it, but you're not being mad at another group of people.
You don't have to have an enemy.
I'll say plane crashes. When a plane crashes, it sucks and we're terrible. It's sad, but the effect of that and 9/11 are different. Like one is, even though there was more people killed on 9/11, it's just the anger that comes when somebody.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it caused a terrorist attack compared to this, because we're all fucking idiots on some. Like nobody, we can all pretend that it would never be us, but any one of us knows. Yeah, I'm incompetent enough to let that happen. I'm incompetent. I definitely am incompetent enough to forget that it's in the warehouse or to go, yeah, we'll get to it. I'm lazy enough.
I don't think they forgot. Yeah, I think it's just like they push it off. Like, oh, it's been there for 5 years. Like, it'll be fine. Okay, it's 6. Okay, it's 7 years. It'll be fine. What's gonna happen? What?
I'm a bad enough decision.
Was a fire gonna start in the warehouse, and then the whole thing's gonna blow up? Come on.
Yeah. So I think we can relate to that. People can relate to being idiots on some level as opposed to being menaces. So, I mean, I would guess that it'd be a little bit easier, but it still sucks. I was watching shockwave videos yesterday, people driving and people in the house, and the shockwave is incredible. Like, I never realized it came like that. Like, there's the explosion, and then a few seconds later, you usually don't get to see that hit.
Yeah.
But did you see the video in a car? The guy was driving, he was filming because it was like already a fire. And a guy in the car was filming it. And so you saw the shockwave hit him, and it was really jarring.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they said like 4,000 people got injured. 135 dead, right? 4,000 injured, something like that.
I thought it was more people killed. I mean, not that that's not insignificant, but it's less than I thought.
No, I think that's about it so far.
Okay.
So far, yeah. Yeah.
You see the video from like across the ocean or the water? That I think I sent it. Where you can like really see like
it almost like from above, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I didn't see that video, Travis. You did send that? Was one of the videos?
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, give us a send, Trav.
Okay, I'll give it a send.
Give us a sendaroo if you can.
It
smells like electronics. Hold on.
You just see what a massive explosion it was. Like, it was crazy.
Space photos, satellite photos of before and after. You can kind of see satellite photos really do tell what a big mess. Oh, Travis.
Well, if I got to sign into my email to send this to you.
Somebody does. Sexy little banter we're having.
That is. Yes, it is.
You probably sent that, and I maybe I've seen it and just didn't remember it.
There.
Thanks.
Let's go to line 2. Let's go to Kevin in Georgia.
Beirut. He works in the warehouse. Hi, Kevin.
What's going on?
Hey,
Kevin?
guys. I just recently heard that the reason the port guards are in trouble is because they were online shopping for motorcycles.
You know what? That could be it. That gets them every time. It does, because you can find a deal on a motorcycle, and all of a sudden the problems of the world just start to escape you.
Yes, they do.
Thank you very much.
It didn't come, Travis.
Oh, go ahead, Jim.
As I said, it didn't come yet. If you sent it,
it's in the Zoom chat. I sent it to everyone, so
I'm looking
everyone
at my email.
can enjoy it.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Thanks.
By the way, that's not the first time you've heard that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw this guy on the boat. Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on, Ray?
Hey, guys. I'm a truck driver. I used to haul that shit. And, you mix a few things with it, you basically have rocket fuel. The older it gets, it kind of disintegrates. But you have to remember, they took the federal building down with just a 55-gallon drum of that shit. So,
Yeah, that is what McVeigh and Nichols used, right? It was just, was it the same?
Diesel fuel and ammonium nitrate.
Did they? What's the fertilizer aspect of it?
It can be used for fertilizer.
The nitrates beat bacteria, so I guess, I've hauled calcium nitrate, which is basically the same thing, but that shit eats leather and shit.
Wow.
So, yes.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought that was the stuff that they used, but I was like, am I just guessing because it was another explosion? So I don't want to say it.
Yeah, and you're right. Ammonium nitrate is also fertilizer.
Yeah. Wow.
But it's very, very volatile.
Yeah, I got to get rid of mine.
How much do you have?
2 cupfuls.
Oh, okay. That should be a little bit. That's okay.
I have 2 cupfuls.
Yeah, you do some YouTube science experiments and stuff with those. That should be fine.
My stomach. Speaking of explosions, I ate Chinese food last night.
Oh my God, that is the most distasteful segue I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, it was an evening of. Oh, it was terrible. My stomach was not doing good, doing well with it. I normally don't eat it, but I figure if I'm on a bender, I might as well enjoy a little. And literally, right after you eat it, you're like, I feel like a pile of shit. Why did I do that? It's all salt. I'm bloated and I'm fucking dried out.
But in the moment, it's so good, right?
It's delicious. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Dude, it's delicious. Yeah. General Chow's chicken and chicken fried rice. And they forgot the broccoli. They didn't give me chicken and broccoli, which I wanted. They gave me some other stuff, which was far less healthy. Amazing. So I'm in bed.
Just farting out little General Chow farts.
Hotboxing myself. Like, you know, it's disgusting when you pull your own head out from underneath the sheet. And you're like, what the fuck? Like when you get mad at your own guessers. So it was an awful evening. An awful evening.
Since they sent you something that was less healthy, did you just put it to the side and say, I'm not going to eat that?
Yes, after I had shoved half of it into my face and knew that I would be expelling it later that evening.
Yeah, I should just have a taste.
Yeah, just a little taste.
I should just make sure. Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, a lot of people were afraid of Chinese restaurants when Corona first started.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, no, it's not like the Chinese food actually comes from China.
Yeah. And
like it's not, you can't even get this Chinese food in China.
Most Asian people that I've seen, they're not like as averse to wearing masks. I guess because it happened already in China. There was the SARS outbreak, but like most people I've seen wearing masks comfortably have been Asian. Like they seem like they're very comfortable. They're not like, they understand what it is. They're not going crazy over it. So no, I wasn't worried about going to Chinese restaurants.
No,
but it's not open to eat in, but you just grab it and leave.
Sure. I like that you celebrated. You celebrated yourself. You got some Chinese food.
Yeah.
And then you had a fart party after that. A farty.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be a fart party. And then I had to digress for once. I had a weird dream that I was going to meet Jay-Z. And I saw him in Sirius once. I've never met Jay-Z, but I had this really weird that we were outside, like walking. I was along the shoulder of a road. It was a muddy road, and I was in another country. And I had left, and I came back, and they said Jay-Z is going to be here, and I was justifying why I was going to meet him. I'm like, he's married to Beyonce. They're like the most powerful celebrity couple. Why wouldn't I sit with him and talk? It was a weird justification of why I was going to meet Jay-Z, and
Because
I'm walking, and he
Beyonce.
comes up, and he's a white guy. He was a white guy, like almost like I'm dressed like a regular white dude in a hoodie, a boring white guy in a hoodie. And there was people around, and I was just trying to make conversation. And I'm like, so do you just get back in country? Like I was using military talk. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I guess you're just doing these meet and greets. I was trying to show him that I understood showbiz talk. And he wasn't too interested in talking to me. And then we were walking, and there was a woman going to seat us like a maitre d'. But we were sitting outside around almost like not a sewer, but around like a muddy outdoor like collection of water. And we were going to sit and talk. And she was a little pixie-ish looking woman. Like she had very short pixie hair. And I tried to make a joke, but I fucked up the reference. It was some weird thing. Like I was like, because she looked like Martin Freeman. So I went to say to Jay-Z, yeah, she looks like Martin Freeman. But I said, she looks like Martin Freehand. and I used Karen's last name by mistake. I fucked up the reference, and I was so mad at myself for making a bad joke. And in the dream, I was trying to fix it. I'm like, in the dream, I'm like, do I tell him that that's my friend's last name and I just fucked up the reference? I meant Martin Freeman, or do I not? And then thank God I woke up. Thank God, I've never been happier to have my alarm go off. It's a terrible, boring dream.
A David Chase dream sequence. I feel like it's just littered with hidden meaning. Littered.
I don't know. It might be, but the weird part was wondering in the dream if I should clarify him. Say, oh no, Martin Freeman. I know his name. Like, because that's what you do in real life when you fuck up a reference, or when you're typing something and you fuck it up. You want to fix the reference, and then you keep writing. Like yesterday, I was typing, and I kept trying to write you or two, but I kept writing yo. So I was like, something two. I wrote something yo, and then I wrote it again yo. Like you just keep trying to send it, and you keep sending the same word. Like, what the fuck am I doing? And you have to put to with an asterisk. So that's kind of what it was like. Do I fix it or do I not fix it?
Man, I feel like there was a lot in that story you just told of insecurities and things that you're not quite sure about playing themselves out.
Maybe.
Whether it's sounding like a douche.
Yeah.
Celebrity meetings. Is this really the celebrity or is it not? You know, the fact that it's a white guy in a hoodie and you're like, but they say it's Jay-Z.
But it didn't even, but it was Jay-Z. Like, I knew it was him. It didn't freak me out that it was him. Like, I knew in my mind in that moment. It's so crazy. It was Jay-Z. Like, it wasn't like this is an imposter. It was like that was whatever the Jay-Z of my dream world was. But I remember picturing him in the dream even and picturing him accurately. But then when this guy came up, it didn't strike me as odd.
Maybe on some level, you believe a boring white guy just like yourself can be as cool as Jay-Z.
I mean, that wasn't necessarily how I was going to interpret it with those terms. That could be it. Sure, that's a fair interpretation. I would probably use different adjectives.
Maybe it's time you look in the mirror and you go, hey, man, what is the difference between me and Jay-Z? Nothing really. Nothing.
Yeah, I've got 99 problems and a reference is one.
That's right. And then you go back to the Martin Freehand reference.
Martin Freeman.
Freehand.
Martin Freehand. I fucked it up. I was so mad because it was going to be a good joke. And I was like, fucked up.
I do wonder if you actually made a Martin Freeman reference to Jay-Z, if he'd be like, what? Who's Martin Freeman?
Martin Freeman reference to fucking Gervais, it would probably take him a second. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. It's a deep cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you're a fan.
Reference.
Because you're a super fan of The Office. Or you could be a super fan of Fargo. One of those two things, and you'll get the reference. But the series, not the movie, obviously.
Or The Hobbit. Wasn't he in The Hobbit? Was that the movie he was in?
Yeah, I don't think there are any super fans of The Hobbit.
Was that not the franchise they hoped it would be?
I mean, here's the problem. When you couple a franchise next to Lord of the Rings, when you couple a movie trilogy, it didn't do poorly, it didn't bomb.
Right.
But it's not Lord of the Rings. Like, I don't think of Martin Freeman. Martin Freeman didn't get famous the way Elijah Woods got famous.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure. And I still think of him from The Office. Or even in Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, the show with
from that.
Benedict Cumberbatch. He plays Watson.
Yeah, people love that show.
It's a unique show. It's really well acted, and I've seen a few episodes. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I forgot about that show. I was thinking of the John C. Reilly, Will Ferrell movie that didn't do particularly well.
Was that a comedy, Sherlock Holmes?
It was. It didn't pan out. People don't want to see Step Brothers in Old English. They just want the Step Brothers to come back. What's going on with the Step Brothers now? If they're making a Step Brothers 2, you see John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell working together on something. You're like, oh, cool, Step Brothers 2. They're like, no, we're Sherlock and Holmes. I'm not interested. I want to see what the Step Brothers are. I've never seen Step Brothers.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's so funny.
I know. Everybody says it. I haven't avoided it. I've just never seen it.
It's incredible.
I'll watch it this weekend.
You should. Yeah, it's really funny. And there's a lot in there that even though it's not that old of a movie, you couldn't make it today.
Oh, yeah. That movie would not get made today.
Mm-mm.
And it's only, like 15 years old? If that?
I don't even think it's that old, but it could be, I guess.
There's a lot of
It
language
could
in
be.
there.
Lots of language. Yeah, language.
2008.
Things,
It's only 12 years old.
12 years old, yeah. Yeah, and they're like, you'd watch that now going, what is this, a different world?
Oh, no. Is it problematic? Oh, no.
It is problematic.
Oh, no. It's problematic. Oh.
I mean, giving somebody high school trauma for telling the world they have a mangina, you can't be doing stuff like that.
No, that's problematic.
Can't be making mangina jokes. Come on.
Yeah, it's
problematic.
problematic. That's problematic. Yeah.
It's terrible. Do you write your dreams down?
At one point I was a little bit, but they're just boring. Like, who cares? Like, I remember them half the time, not always. But sometimes I remember them and I forget to talk about them. Or there was at one point I was, because some of them were so weird.
Yeah.
That was a strange one because of us walking on the side of the road and the woman like a maitre d' sitting us down outside. I want to say it was like around a sewer grate.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I think your dreams are weird because you don't really slow down your brain much while you're conscious. You know what I mean? That's why you have to write yo 150 times, because you're yo. You know, you're in constant movement, it seems like. So when your brain finally slows down and you're asleep, I don't think that it's used to slowing down. So a whole bunch of weird shit just starts pouring in.
It's just sorting through weird things, yeah. But that's what my biggest fear is. Bombing, telling Jay-Z a joke as we are seated around a sewer. Like, what a dumb fucking dream. What a dumb dream.
Yeah. You ever wake up from a dream like that and go, I had no idea how shallow I was.
What a stupid asshole I am.
I don't have a lot of depth. This is what I'm worried about.
This is all that matters. This is how good life is. I'm hoping if I'm ever sat by a sewer with Jay-Z for dinner that I understand the Martin Freeman reference and don't panically put in my friend's last name.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it means nothing. They don't know. Maybe they mean nothing, dreams. They'll eventually... By the way, Elon Musk now is working on that thing for your brain, which is I guess a chip thing for your brain. Where
What's that?
You can regulate your moods. I'm sure that there will be a lot of problems with it at first, but what an amazing, amazing thing if they can get that fixed. What that will do to the pharmaceutical industry. Like, if that works, and you can do something like that. First of all, how will you stop other people from controlling your mood? How will you stop somebody from making someone manic into a crazy mood and committing a murder? But if all that can be worked out, and it works, boy, will that do a lot of damage to the pharmaceutical industry, which is great.
Yeah, but that's probably going to be the toughest part about getting it to work, is getting past the pharmaceutical industry. Like, that's a very powerful industry. I know Elon Musk, luckily, is a very powerful guy himself, but pharmaceutical industry is very well connected and very powerful. Although all these things are getting torn down as time goes on, so it would be nice to see the pharmaceutical industry get torn down. However, it does sound like one of those things where that would be the benefit. At first, people would go, how great is this? Pharmaceutical industry is torn down. People are getting the behavioral medicine that they need. And then pretty quickly we'd realize, oh, that was the end of civilization. That moment, because it's always every movie, it's always something good at first, because everybody's got to accept it. It's always a good thing. Oh, let's all do this. Yeah, let's sign up for it. And then you realize that was the first step. You should never have said yes to that, even though short term it seemed good, because that is what destroyed society as we know it.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on how it works. What does it do to your brain? Is it just like a little nudge where it closes one valve of chemicals, like, and stops the fucking whatever it is that we flood ourselves with to feel shitty? Does it kind of shut that? Maybe that valve, like a fucking like when you have reflux, that little valve in your I guess your esophagus doesn't work, or your stomach, so you get all that bile and acid coming up. You know, so they can redo that valve, you get less reflux. So maybe that's what it does. Maybe it just kind of goes and shuts off some electrical signal, which is dumping all these chemicals. I don't know. If it's something like that, it's not as bad. I don't see how else it would work to make you feel good, unless it pokes your fucking your little. What is the thing that makes you feel good? Not dopamine. There's something else that makes you feel good.
Medulla oblongata?
It was not that. And it's not blowjobs either. Those are my first two guesses.
Oh. Something wrong with
Whatever
his
it is.
medulla oblongata.
Serotonin.
There you go. Thank you. Yes, serotonin.
Boom. Nailed it.
Yeah, maybe it does something with that.
Don't you think people who like doing drugs, people like doing drugs? And if they found out that, those mood changes could just come, powered by an app, because that's the way it would work. The chip would communicate with an app on your iPad. And then one day, my phone wasn't working yesterday. One day the chip just wouldn't connect with the iPad, or the Bluetooth would be down, or something would just be a little wonky. Oh, it's just a little wonky today. Like, yeah, I understand that this is a little wonky, but now it's connected to my brain. I really can't afford for this to be wonky right now. And then you're Marty Jannetty confessing to maybe murder on Facebook.
Yeah, maybe.
Because your iPad app got wonky.
Yeah, what happened? You walk in the fucking house, the guy's wife and kids are dead. He's holding an axe. What happened? My Wi-Fi went out. I couldn't connect to the app. I realized how fat she's gotten, and my Wi-Fi went out at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of tinkering with brain chemistry at all.
I'm not because I'm afraid of losing creativity, but I also realize how crazy I am. And I realize that sometimes brain chemistry, like any other physical thing, needs to be fixed. Like brain chemistry is like your elbow or something else. It's a physical thing. And if they can, there's a way to fix it where you're not totally dry mouth medicated. Hello, things are good. Like there's a way to nudge it lightly where it helps a little bit. And I think that's a really healthy thing if you need it.
It is, but we're also, if you need it.
Yeah.
And that's the big leap. Like, that's why the pharmaceutical industry has gone crazy, because it's not like everybody who takes antidepressants or mood stimulants or whatever it is, it's not like they all need it. It just makes life a little easier. And life isn't always supposed to be a little easier. People are supposed to have a little bit of anxiety. You're not supposed to be happy all the time. You're not supposed to be in a good mood all the time. And it would take 5 seconds for people to go, wait, I could just be in a good mood all the time? Yeah, of course I'll click that, because why not? We're not supposed to be in a good mood all the time. We're supposed to go along with the ebbs and flows. That's why we have brains.
Depends on how deep you ebb, though.
Right, of course. Like there are people who their brains are broken, right? And that's why I'm not sitting here going like there should not be any pharmaceuticals at all. There should, some people need antidepressants. That's fine. But I think that we are moving more towards getting everybody on some kind of brain tinkering device or drug or something like that. So everybody just has a little bit of something. And you hear, more and more. Everybody takes this. Everybody takes that. I take this to help me sleep. I take this to wake up. And it's like very commonplace now. It's not a taboo. It's not oh man, I feel a little embarrassed that I have to take this pill to get in a better mood, or I'm feeling stressed out and I have to take this. But everybody's taking stuff, and it's like, we're supposed to have individual, unique brains that aren't sort of medicated to operate all the same way.
We do, but I think every brain is broken to a certain degree. It just depends on what part of it and how. Like, everyone who has a car that's over 3 or 4 years old has something with it that they'd like to fix. With some people, it's just the windshield wipers. So you don't really need much work there. Or it's something like your left turn signal. And with other people, both left tires are flat. So it depends on how fucking damaged your car is and how bad the leak is in your tire. Like, everyone needs a little bit of, like, I think if everyone thought of, well, what can I do to make my brain work a little bit better? We would all do it. I mean, it's such a complex thing. I think overly medicating is a bad idea, but I think everybody has something that they would fix if they could, even if it's just a minor adjustment. So eventually they'll have something for that.
Number one, I don't think people have the discipline to just make minor adjustments. I think that people get a little better, and then they're like, oh, I could just keep doing this. Oh, I could turn it up a notch and turn it up a notch. And number two, I think it's a problem that you're right, I think people are all broken to some extent, and you could make the analogy to cars, but when you start making the analogy to cars and you fix a brain like you fix a car, I feel like a brain is what makes a person, and people are supposed to be the center of civilization. So if we start acting like humans get fixed the same way cars get fixed, you start going on this weird route where all of a sudden it's just like we're not valuing what we have naturally.
But we're already doing that. We're already doing that. We're already doing it with our arms and our legs and everything else. We fix everything. Like we always go for medical treatment, whether it's for cancer or if it's for hypertension or if it's diabetes, whatever the fuck it is, we go to get it fixed anyway. So the brain is just one more physical thing that they can fix. But I don't think that we should become these robotic thinkers. But it is something
being sad and having a broken arm is two different things. That's why there's a doctor in charge. There's supposed to be a doctor in charge of that stuff, right? And there should be a doctor in charge of prescribing medication. But that's a big problem because medication is prescribed pretty easily. Like a doctor, the code of ethics is supposed to be, well, I'm not going to fix your arm if it doesn't need fixing. But nobody really gets the brain fully the way you get an arm. Like an arm is very cut and dry.
Right.
You just go in and you're like, oh, I can't sleep. I'm a little nervous during the day. Okay, well, take this, take that. It's like you could just realize you don't have to be so nervous during the day, or maybe be a little nervous. It's okay.
But it's the arm and the brain are different. But the thing about them that's the same is that the brain is a physical thing. Like we forget that mental, and I forget it too. But like mental issues, they're physical issues. They are physical things.
Sure.
Whenever you look at the mind, you look at it like, it's this weird thing that is unique and like we don't really know, but we do know that it's all chemicals. So it's kind of, I don't believe in overly medicating. I'm not saying that, but if they have something, anything they have that can kind of keep people a little bit more even, I don't think is a bad thing, especially if you're not doing it with drugs. Like, I don't know. For some reason, I have more faith in this than I would in, I think this would be easier to adjust than like medication is a much harder thing to adjust. It seems like that's where everybody goes, oh, I don't know. We're giving it to them and then it stopped working, or I mean, whatever we're doing, this has got to be a little bit better.
And it's quality of life too.
Yeah.
Like if your moods are going like this constantly, where it's extreme highs and extreme lows, it's not a bad thing to balance it out a little bit. Yes, that's the way your brain is operating, but if it's driving you crazy.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about people being driven crazy. I'm not talking about extreme highs and extreme lows. I'm talking about normal highs and normal lows. Because the stuff is invented to help people with extreme highs and extreme lows. And what you're seeing is people who get helped by it, who need help, people who don't really need the help, who don't have extreme highs and extreme lows, just have normal highs and normal lows, are going like, well, I don't want to have highs and lows. And they go for the same type of treatment that somebody who actually needs it goes for. Do you know what I'm saying?
They do, and
because you're right. I don't think that this stuff shouldn't exist. I just think that when you start making it real easy for people to fuck with their brain chemistry, it's not just the people who need it who use it. It becomes to the point where it's like it's weird if you're not doing it.
It's like medical marijuana.
It's like a multivitamin. Yeah.
Yeah. Where people are going to find reason, like, I got a prescription for the fucking zapper, whatever it is that you fix your brain with. But I don't think you'll be able to fix it that extremely on your own. I don't think it'll be one of those things where you can just, like those Philips lights where you have the app with the circle and you can pick the color and pick the thing. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a much milder thing, and you may not even be able to adjust it on your own. Obviously, it'll be a doctor who can adjust it for you.
Yeah.
Of course, there will be hacks and people who can figure out how to get into the system and do it. But I think it's a
17-year-old kid. 17-year-old kid in Florida is just messing with people's brains. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I guess. You got to watch out for somebody getting a hold of the database and then making everybody go fucking crazy, shooting all their dosage way through the roof.
Yeah, I always think about the potential pitfalls. It's like you just go back to that moment recently where Elon Musk just accidentally threw a metal ball through his window and it broke. And it's like, will that happen in real life? Probably not. Is it as he described? Probably. That was just a freak accident. But those things happen.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're talking about something on a scale, like what happens in a worst case scenario instead of like, oh yeah, look at all these benefits. Okay, but what are the things that could go wrong? And how likely are those things to go wrong?
How long will this take to be usable though? I mean, like, unfortunately, like I would love this to exist if it, again, because I've always avoided like depression medication, always, because I didn't want to be one of those, and I'm afraid that my creativity would be fucked up or the way I think, which is at times horrible, but it is kind of, I need it. So I've always avoided stuff like mood altering medications and stuff that just kind of mellows you. So the thing I take is very, very mild. Like literally, it takes you, if you're like freaking out to a 7, it takes you to a 5. It's like one of those things. It doesn't make you feel high at all.
Right.
And I haven't taken it in weeks. I forget to take it. It's it's such a mild effect. You don't notice it. You just notice like, oh yeah, I haven't gotten like really crazy in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
There's definitely a dosage that is right, but it scares me to take something too intense medically, because then if it goes wrong, you don't know it's wrong. Like nobody ever knows their medication is wrong unless they start seeing like, fuck, bad shit's happening. What's wrong? Oh yeah, like all these Karens, half of these twats that are running around like this. We saw a video yesterday, or I saw a video. I'm not sure if it was in the prep of that woman who's dropping the N-bomb on these landscapers. And just sitting there screaming it at them. And it looks like there's somebody from her house standing there like you didn't know what to do. Like these people that are so hateable, I bet you 60% or 75% of them are just mentally ill people. And we are filming them like, look at this asshole. But it's like, no, they're just crazy. Like she's mentally ill. Obviously, she's clearly fucking, to stand there and scream that at men and not expect to get punched in the face. She's just, there's something wrong with her. Something medically wrong with her.
Yeah. And you also find people who will be on medication, get better, and then once they're better, stop using the medication.
Yeah.
And then when they get back to being bad again, they're just like, no, I'm better. I'm fine. And they, it becomes a very difficult cycle. And I think there are a lot of people who, because I think you're right. Like it is a physical thing, and mental illness is just illness at the end of the day. It's something that needs to be treated. But I'm more talking about the people who take treatment that's meant for an illness that they don't have.
Oh, sure.
Because they just want to, you know what I mean? They just want to get a little better. There are plenty of people who are not medically ill that are just going like, oh, I'd like to be a little happier. I'd like to feel a little better. I want to go to sleep easier. Like,
yeah. Sure. They get prescriptions for stuff, and that's where all these shitty doctors come in. I just think that the idea of it, if this works, and if it's something that's actually helpful, it will be, I don't know, it just seems like it would really take a tremendous amount away. And I know the pharmaceutical companies we shit on. Norm Macdonald had a very funny bit, and I'm going to paraphrase the idea of the bit because I don't remember the joke, but it was when this whole COVID thing started, where he was talking about how we always attack the point was basically we're always attacking the pharmaceutical industry, and now who are we looking for to help fix it? It's the pharmaceutical, which was a really smart point that he made. So it's like, they do some great shit, and they've made our lives better. So it's like it's easy to vilify them, but I mean they are. It's just the fact that they overly medicate and they overcharge. Yeah. It's like to a point where it's really like gross. Like they got to make a little bit of money, and they do pay a lot in research. So I don't mind them making some of their money back, but I'd love to have that little brain thing. Get yourself up.
Would you love it if it was the Philips Light thing? Like if it was just
come on. You kidding me?
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great?
I wouldn't handle it well, but maybe I would. Maybe once you get a little bit, whatever it is that thing in you that makes you want more. Maybe you can. Maybe that can be adjusted. Like maybe once that valve is closed or fixed, like meaning the greed for like addiction. Maybe that fucking valve is fixed. All of a sudden you're like, no, I don't need to do more. I feel great the way I am. I'm good right here. Like I feel really good right now. As we're talking, I feel great. There's nothing I need right now. I don't want to take anything to make me feel any better than I am. I'm fine.
Yeah. So like if I zap down the addict gene, if I zap down the addictive stuff, and then just bring up happiness a little bit, since I zapped down that first thing, I'm not going to have to zip down the second thing all that high, because that other thing, the thing that's making me just do more and more and more, already got zapped down. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I think
Elon's thought of it.
Of course he did. He's just such a What an insightful guy. Like, what a helpful guy he is. He's just a helpful person. Like, you say what you want about Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or Bezos or Elon Musk, but even Richard Branson, they're very helpful individuals. I don't care if they're dicks. I don't care if they're billionaire pricks or whatever. I mean, they are doing things that are eventually going to make all of our lives better, especially Elon Musk. I mean, taking us to fucking space is pretty fucking impressive. Then again, so are the computers that enable it.
Yeah, that's very good. Although some people think that Bill Gates did COVID. That's not helpful.
I've heard that, yeah. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he's been very critical of the COVID response. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe.
I don't think he did COVID. No.
You don't think Bill Gates did COVID?
For what? Why would he? He's in Seattle, just fucking sitting there with Melinda, donating to people, $100 billion here, or $100 million here, $100 million there. Oh, and all of a sudden he's like, hey, let's give everybody COVID where it could kill me. For what? I'd like to take truly crazy people and sit them down and go, for what?
Yeah.
The fuck does he get out of this?
He wants to make all this money, and you're like, he's donating all of his money.
Dude, he gives away $50 million to charities. What, he wants to make 50? It doesn't make sense.
No, he wants to track everybody.
That's
Bill
true.
Gates?
Yeah, that's why he made COVID.
Oh, because of the equipment that will track people, right? Even
Yeah.
after there's a vaccine, we won't need it anymore, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
obviously.
good.
Come on,
Yeah.
Jim. Jesus.
COVID trackers by Microsoft.
Would you wear a tracking device if it was something that you could turn, if you knew it was something that was only being used during this
No.
or
I
during
already do.
a pandemic?
It's my phone.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's true. We do.
That's a great point. You know what?
No, but I'm saying
Yeah.
you're right that we can't always be traced. So your driver's your license plate is always being scanned no matter where you go. Yeah, people always do kind of know where we are.
We're getting
Bill
there.
Gates gets really excited about talking about the vaccine, though. You watch him. Look, he gets really amped up about it.
Well, yeah, because he knows what's
Bill
coming.
Gates does.
Yeah, and you know that it's one step closer to microchipping, and that's what they want. And
That's
there's
true.
a lot of money to be made in that too. So
I think so too. Sure.
How is it one step closer to microchipping? We already
Okay,
have
that's a good
vaccines
follow-up.
for things.
Okay,
well, it's
so
going to
you're
become
saying he
mandatory.
didn't-
You're saying wearing the tracking device, Troy?
Yeah. Well, moving into microchipping. I mean, the vaccine.
What's that
will probably
tiny
be-
laugh? Go ahead, Henson.
Every time.
That's very good. That's very, very good.
You know what I'm saying? Like it'll become mandatory for the vaccine, and then it's just the natural progression is microchipping.
Who's going to make it mandatory?
Well, you won't be able to travel. You won't be able to do anything unless you have the vaccine. So they'll make it so you literally can't do anything.
So it won't be mandatory. It'll be mandatory if you want to fly.
Live a life.
Live life.
Or go to a store.
Yeah, but-
Troy might be right. They might eventually,
that
if
would be,
it gets
that
bad
would be
enough.
challenged in court so much it would just
For-
be tied up forever.
For this one, but who knows what the next one is going to be? Like the next one might be really bad, might have a 40% kill rate, or whatever, or whatever who knows?
So you got to
You
get
know?
certain shots. Like you can't go to college, for instance, without getting certain shots.
Yeah,
Right,
body
stuff
shots.
like that.
Yeah,
Nice shot,
Fucking good,
shot.
Fuck yeah, Tef knows.
But even if it got to the place where it's like they're making it so that people need to get vaccines, where does the microchip come in? You're saying that they will microchip people to find out if they got vaccines?
No, it'll be tracking that you got the vaccine, and then everything you have will eventually be moved to that, as far as your identification, as far as your any bank, your savings accounts or checking accounts, and they're going to make it convenient for that to happen.
But how do they convince people? Because it's already a leap to get some people to vaccinate. There are anti-vaxxers, right? Some people are psyched about a vaccine. Some people are like, fuck a vaccine. I'll never get a vaccine. How do they get over that leap of going like, you have to get a vaccine and a microchip?
No, I
Because
don't
there
think it's
already
going
are
to happen.
vaccines.
No, yeah,
Like, there
I
are,
don't
like,
think it's.
We have polio and,
I don't
flu
think it's an
shots.
overnight thing. I think it's a couple years down the road kind of thing.
You're right, and here's how you get people over it: when people who aren't doing it are when they're unhealthier. Meaning, when people, it might not be mandatory. When people are microchipped, and all of a sudden we know when we're sick, or we know other things, or all of a sudden they have a much less rate of cancer because that thing is picking up readings in their body that people who don't have it, when the life expectancies, it might be a long time it might take, but I bet it's medical stuff where people start to see people who have it living better lives and living, it's like a cell phone on a crazier level where no one is mandatory that they have a cell phone. A cell phone, you're right, it tracks you. It has all your information on it. But nobody sits home with a rotary phone or a flip phone because the convenience of a cell phone, and you see the benefit of everybody leading a life with a cell phone, and you want to be a part of that. So if microchipping somehow makes people a lot healthier and does things for people that is legitimately good, or if like a pandemic happens and people who aren't getting sick are pretty much microchipped because they're able to regulate it, whatever the fucking thing is, then people will probably come around and start getting it. But maybe it won't be mandatory. Maybe it's just people who have it will have more freedom and live much better lives.
I don't think it'll be mandatory. I also don't think that they'll when the microchipping finally does happen. And Troy, I'm not arguing. I'm not saying that it won't. When the microchipping finally does go down, I think we've learned a lot from the iPhone. I think the one lesson Steve Jobs has taught us is that you don't need fear to turn people into sheep. That sometimes it can be more effective to just do the convenience part. Like, you don't need a pandemic to make people microchip themselves. If you just take the part that you were just talking about, Jim, that making your life more convenient, if it just becomes this thing where, and it will probably be generationally, where it starts with the 20-year-olds and the 30-year-olds all getting themselves microchipped, and then you start going, instead of going up, you don't worry about microchipping the 60 and the 70-year-olds.
Right.
You get the 30-year-olds and the 20-year-olds, and then when you're 15, you need to have a microchip. And then when you're 12, you need to have a microchip because otherwise you won't fit in. And they do things like what you just described, Jim, with Elon Musk. And I was like, hey, good news, with this microchip, we can actually fix your brain chemistry. You won't need to take all those drugs anymore. Or, hey, who needs GPS on their phone? What if you could just zap it? Like, I think it'll just be offering conveniences and cool tech, and people will get microchipped, especially the younger they get, because they're, as we get older, we get more averse to new technology. Right. So I think they'll start with younger, they'll get people microchipped, and it will only be for the cool tech and for little things like, this is the new way we text. People will get microchipped if it's the cool way to text. If it's it went from BBM to Apple Message or whatever they're called to, brain-on-brain touching.
Or programming, entertaining programming that you can only get through that. But I don't think that makes people sheep, though. I don't think that would be a way. I think that it's an advancement. I think eventually it'll, maybe 500 years from now, it'll be something we have put into DNA, like some type of computer connection put into DNA to make sure that we come out okay and our bone structure is right and all that stuff. Don't be surprised if that happens, again, 500 years from now or 200 years from now.
It can be a double, two sides of the coin, though, there, because I'm sure that will happen. Like, people will probably be healthier, but you will have to understand that you're not in full control of your faculties anymore.
But when have we, and this is a question for anybody, because we do say that a lot, and all of us say it, like, we don't want to be sheep, we don't want to be slaves to the government. When have people ever not been quote unquote sheep? Like, when? When in history, like, when has this free, independent thinking existed that everybody talks about? I mean, was it in the 40s during World War II when everybody believed that just, throw the Japanese people in camps and, USA is perfect and everybody else sucks? Or was it, 1,000 years? Like, when were we these amazing free thinkers where, when everybody just kind of believed in religion, and if you weren't religious, you were this communist, queer heathen, people have always been that. So it's like anything that we do now, people are like, we're going to be sheep. But it's like, when have we not been? If that's what defines sheep, when have we not been?
Well, I think that there's a big difference between being influenced by an outside source and having something be able to mechanically influence you. You don't have the option to turn it off or to not be influenced. People talk about propaganda and the damage of it all the time, I mean, for instance, Jim, as an individual, you're talking about group. As an individual, you don't really fall for that stuff.
No.
You know, you are free thinking enough to be able to be like, I know that that's not right. I know that that's wrong. You know, that's that individual thing where you're like, no, I know that that's not right. I know that that's not the direction I want to go in. I know that that's not what I want to do. That's the thing that is free, independent thought.
Sure. I'm not talking about giving up your. By the way, sorry, I'm not talking about giving up your free thought with these microchips. I'm not talking about like all of a sudden letting a government agent flip a button and make you think a certain thing. I'm not talking about giving it up like that. I mean, just the idea of having that thing in where you can regulate your own stuff. I'm not talking about other people being able to control what you think or control you.
I don't trust that once that's in there, that if you can connect to it, that somebody else couldn't connect to it.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's definitely that risk, but with any new technology or any new thing, there's a risk of abuse. But like these things get worked out again, whether it's through court or through technological, like little ways they fix it. Yeah, there's all these ways they kind of tinker with it. But yeah, you're right. Of course, you don't want somebody controlling your thoughts. I mean, I don't. No, of course not.
Or even monitoring. Right? Maybe it's not as nefarious as controlling. It could just be monitoring, but that gets you in trouble too. I mean, you talk about all the time. We know what's happened with words and with speaking.
But it's not the government doing it; it's each other.
Well, whoever does it, I'm not. Yeah. I didn't say the government. It could be the person who invents the chip. Like, who knows? Who knows what it'll be? And I saw very good. I noticed that you stopped yourself there.
Yeah, because you knew he was going to say the god of Yuma.
Yeah, I mean, who knows where it comes from, I think.
Right.
But yeah, I just yeah. I don't know.
But you hope that whatever it is that makes people get off on attacking other people. Because again, that's all this culture is about. It's not about righting the wrong. It feels good. Like I drove by an accident yesterday, and everybody's rubbernecking the accident. And that same rubbernecking the accident thing, which has been there since cars existed, is what it is today, watching people get burned alive socially. It's rubbernecking an accident, and I hope everyone's okay, but we don't hope everyone's okay. There's the ugly fucking secret. We hope that there's a fucking body that we can see. And I don't know why we hope that. Maybe it's some primal thing, but whenever we drive by an accident, we hope there is a body to see. And that's the way, that's a human thing. So that's kind of what we're doing nowadays. So whatever it is that makes us feel good doing that, maybe that can be worked on too. So maybe the idea of going after people won't feel as good because whatever rush that gives us won't be there anymore or won't be needed anymore.
I don't like the sound of that.
To what?
That sounds like too tinkering with brain chemistry. If you're, I don't think we need to turn ourselves into robots to stop ourselves from doing bad things. Not that those things aren't bad.
But I'd rather deal with people into robots.
I'd rather people be assholes than put a device in their face so that they're not assholes anymore. Like because they're still an asshole.
Yeah, but they are. But eventually, all of this stuff is going to be worked out genetically and through. It's going to be part of life expectancy. Becoming 400 instead of 80 or whatever. There's a lot of this stuff is going to have to be worked out because there's going to be so many more people, first of all, because people aren't dying of natural causes as much. A lot of this stuff's going to have to be worked out or it's going to be uncontrollable.
The reason I don't like chips being put into the body like that is because clearly they would have to connect, right? They would have to be connectable. Whether it's Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or some new technology. Yeah. Like, it would have to be able to connect wirelessly. And, I mean, I think about something as simple as the camera on your computer. You get a computer, there is nothing that says that somebody else should be able to somehow, in some other part of the world, get into your computer and be able to control the camera.
Right.
But when they do, you're like, holy shit, I wish this camera wasn't even on this computer. And you got Zucks in the Facebook office putting duct tape over his because he knows, that this is the way this works. And I mean, if we can't control the security of that, I just don't have faith Or, go back to Facebook. They're lying. Like they were lying about the data that they were collecting. They were not telling the truth. They were selling data. The whole idea of, this would be great, and we'll create this website and bring everybody together, it just became this place where we can collect and buy data.
Right.
Or collect and sell data. So that stuff happens way too much. And once you get
Twitter
a chip in a brain.
Hacked. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, from with the Bitcoins and stuff like that. Yeah, and if anything, like the president lives on Twitter. You would think that if any website would be secure and needed security, it would be Twitter, right?
Yeah.
But it's just not. And it's not that, technology will improve and it will get better. This is just the way this stuff works. As technology improves, so will hacking methods, and nothing's ever going to be that secure. So if it's not going to be that secure, how much control can you give something?
There will definitely always be that threat. But I'm thinking 200 years in the future, 250 years in the future, when people are thinking a lot different. People hate futuristic Jimmy, but I know I'm right about this stuff because it's not crazy. As life expectancy goes on and people are living to be 300 to 400 years old, something is going to have to change. You can't have what's happening right now for a bunch of people who are going to turn 400 soon. It's just too much. It's insanity.
Troy, when you talk about chips, are you thinking 200 years in the future, or are you thinking much sooner than that?
I would probably say, and again, I have no idea, but I'm just saying,
of course,
10 to 15 years.
The start of it.
I'm thinking,
yeah,
I'm thinking a lot sooner myself.
Oh yeah,
I'm not in this conversation. I'm not thinking 200 years. I'm
talking about when everybody is chipped and it's a part of life, like where everybody is who we are. Like I think that's a long way in the future. Maybe not 200.
I think it's going to become one of those things too, where you ever see like people walk around with like a flip phone, and you're like, look at this fucking turd. I saw a guy with a Discman the other day. I was like, what a fucking dork.
Hope that guy with the bat saw him too.
But it'll be one of those things where it's the cool thing. The cool thing is to get chipped.
Yeah,
that was only 20 years ago.
Right,
20 years ago, people had CD players still walking around.
Yeah,
right, and I mean that's how quickly things move.
And everything you have will be tied to that chip. So like you won't even be able to get into concerts. Yes. You have to scan your chip where that has your identification and your ticket number, so there's no fraud. They're going to
easy
do those
pass line, Troy, right? Like the easy pass lanes. It'll be one chip lane, then two, and then three, and then all of a sudden there'll only be one line for people who don't have it, and they'll have to wait an hour and a half to get in, and everybody else is just walking right in.
TSA, scan your chip, go right through.
Yeah,
right. And within and eventually, and I don't mean in 200 years. I mean like in 20, it'll go. Well, yeah, we only have the one line, so if you don't have the chip, you're not getting in. Like there'll be enough people with chips that if you don't have it, you're simply not getting in. If you don't have it, you're not flying. I don't
chip
think
only event or something. Yeah,
I don't think Troy's crazy when he says you'll need something like that to fly. I don't think that that's a crazy thought.
Not at all.
Because they already. I mean,
it'll start. It'll start with needing to get there early, 3 hours early instead of 10 minutes early.
Totally, incrementally. They're already doing the thing where you have to upgrade your license, or you have to go on this line, or you have to go on that line, you don't. You have to upgrade your license, but if you don't, you can still bring your passport or something like that. Eventually, now you have to upgrade your license, and that's just, it's just the process, and that's an easier sell than putting a chip in your brain, of course, but it's the same level of thinking.
Isn't it by October in New York that has to be done? I'm hoping they push that back a little, being the DMV has been closed.
Yeah, I think
October,
it is October.
November.
Yeah. I think, and I hope they do push that back, because otherwise there's going to be absurd lines. Because I know we were trying to get it done a couple of weeks ago, and you can't do it through the mail. You have to go to the DMV itself, and I don't even know if DMVs are open here.
Yeah, that's going to be a crazy fucking... you hope they push it back to Jan, Feb.
It's cool when you abbreviate.
Yeah. I'm always in a hurry.
Yeah.
So faster way. You know me. Zipping in and out of it.
Pack a lot of info in, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's fascinating to...
it is interesting to talk about. It's fun.
Because I was thinking the other day, when will this be in our DNA? Like eventually... again, and this is where I was thinking 200 years in the future, all that stuff. I was watching something online about possible alternate theories to the universe. And, again, I don't get them. Like, I can't explain them. I would just watch it. When you watch them, you're like, fuck, that sounds amazing. But I could never re-explain it. But I'm like, all this stuff and all these tremendous mental possibilities, I think eventually they're going to be injecting DNA, like whatever makes a quantum computer, they'll eventually be shooting that into DNA, and you'll just be born with it in you. And there'll be mistakes at first, but you'll be born just knowing what you need to know. Whatever it is, we continually learn. But I think we'll be a million times smarter at that.
It's like that, literally the evolution of the species.
Yeah, but I don't think
that's
it'll be
how
a
humans
thing.
evolve.
100%.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing either. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
it'll be a part of us. Yeah, it'll just be something that we inject in. We may always have to put it in, like, you know what I mean. It may be one of those things where if you're born without it, you're considered primitive, or way behind to the point where you just can't learn, or you have to have it.
Totally.
But
it could be they'll start with injecting stuff like that. And then they'll figure out how to inject it into a person and allow them to pass it on. And that's how, that's how they'll get it to start to pass on, because that'll be the next step.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, where you alter the DNA. But then again, you'll pick up my father's shitty traits. You know what I mean? He always has too many windows open at the same time, or whatever computer problems you.
Yeah. It's so funny going back and watching Back to the Future 2. With their vision of the future, because they blew it. They got it so wrong.
Did they? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're fax machines on the wall. And it's like, who uses a fax machine? Who uses paper? Like, what are you, nuts? Flea is in charge of a big company. Come on.
At least we're thinking, though, of futuristic possibilities that make sense. Like, we're not just taking the next cell phone option. Back then, they did stuff like that. Like, you're right. They oh my God, the spaceship that has a rotary telephone on it. At least we know that the technology is going to be much different. Like, you're not going to be swiped. I always wonder, like, 50 years from now, when you look at photos of us with iPhones, it will be like, look at that primitive device they're holding. Remember when phones were the big thing, the way we look at a Walkman now? What will they be doing then? I'm guessing it'll just be, again, an implant.
Yeah. I mean, people say the glasses, but I don't think the glasses are the... it'll happen.
Yeah.
But I think the glasses are just a step on the way to the implant. I don't think the glasses will be the thing. I don't
think
we'll all
contacts, and then implant.
And I think that's a quick process. I don't think people have glasses for 10 years. I think the glasses come out, people get comfortable with them. Real quick after that, you get contacts. Real quick after that. Like, that's what I think.
See, my idea is that people have been poo-pooing my idea. But as opposed to the glasses, I am thinking it should be the visors that people are using in restaurants now, like those plastic visors. That's what people should have their computer screen on, and everyone should have a mouse that they walk around with, a trackpad that they hold in their other hand. People think I'm wrong. People think I'm an asshole.
I think that's actually a very, very good idea. It's like basically just stapling an iPad to your forehead.
Yeah, which I think is a very convenient idea.
Yeah, and especially with the mouse on the table. That way, and maybe there's even like maybe some kind of fold out keyboard, so that maybe while you're at dinner, you could just put the keyboard on the table and type. Yeah,
you absolutely have to be plugged in. So that you'd always have to be by a wall. Always have to be by a wall. Of course.
Obviously, I mean, it's a very powerful device.
I guess we should break soon. I want to promote Chip's Patreon is doing very well, and the live Philly podcast I did about a year and a half ago now will be going up either today or tomorrow. So if you want to join Chip's Patreon, feel free.
Travis is smiling at me.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I say do
get
it.
Excited when... Okay.
What?
The vote is split. I just
Do
get
it.
excited when the live shows go up,
Which one are you really excited for?
Well, there's not many options. I mean, there was... Boston has been up.
Right.
And I think I put out the original one in the Village Underground was a podcast. I used that one for podcast.
That. Yeah.
And now there's Philly.
Right. So the only one left is the big Long Island show.
Yeah,
I hear that was one of the best.
Which it was a really
best,
great
actually.
one. Sold out
The
show.
best.
We're in a close to sold out show. 1,000 people. Really phenomenal good time.
And subscribe to Chip on Patreon. You'll be able to see that show in its
Not
entirety.
that one. No. I stand corrected. Philly. You can see. Philly was actually a better show, but still, Long Island was amazing.
Says you. You got any proof?
Just my heart, my memories.
You have to take my word for it.
Take my word for it. I would never lie to you about that.
All right. Well, I guess I'll take your word for it then. I don't really have any other option.
Yeah. That's it. There's footage of it, too, that there is video footage of it somewhere. No, video footage on a hard drive somewhere. I may actually even have it. I know Rob had done that, and I think that a lot of it, he was putting it together at one point. So I think the hard drive is at work or whatever.
Did he get camera audio with that, or was it just no audio at all?
This camera audio.
There's camera audio, yeah.
Did you listen to it? Is it audible?
I might even have it somewhere. I'll give Rob a text and ask him. I hope his health is good. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah.
Hope he's good, yeah.
Yeah. He had a birthday not too long ago.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. We got Jessica Kirson joining us. Kirson? I think I got criticized on Twitter for calling her Kirson, but I think I was just following your lead, Jim.
I always think it's Kirsten. Why? Was it Kirsten? I mean, I've known her for years, and I still don't know how to say her last name. I call her Jessie K.
Jessie K is going to be on the show.
Yeah.
I wonder, I didn't see her on the last episode of the Chip Show.
That's right.
Tournament of Laughter. Or Tournament, whatever it was. She was in the first round. So I don't know maybe if they brought everybody back from the first round or if they just went second round on. Although I saw Megan Gailey was in it, so maybe she did get to vote. I'd love to find out if she got to vote. Jessica
I think
Kirsten.
they all did, and I believe TBS people got to vote too. I don't know exactly. I just don't know the ins and outs. Stuff like that is, I just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, luckily, nobody's really talking about that on Twitter anymore.
Are they still talking about it? I know that
it still comes out. It does still.
Oh, it does? Okay.
It does.
Yes.
Come out. Yep.
A Chip video was made recently just to rebut the 5 stars that they gave Chip.
Chip is not gracious.
Well, not with getting 5 stars. No, I mean, nobody would be. Nobody wants to be given 5 stars. It's like a child.
Right. Chip is no child.
No, I mean, he's an asshole, but he's a certain amount of human dignity.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of pride is the thing. Yeah. And he should. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Yep.
With more Jim and Sam. Stay tuned.
We'll be back with more Jim Norton and Sam Roberts.
Laugh a little hard. Laugh Out Loud Radio. Doing our best to give you real, raw, authentic conversation. Doing the quarantine edition of our show.
Straight from the heart. Quarantine.
I'm your host, Kevin Hart, with my brothers. Talking about the Plastic Cup Boys, especially while we're in this quarantine.
Straight from the heart. Quarantine. Live.
Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio. Sirius XM Channel 96.
Or listen on demand with the Sirius XM app, Amazon Alexa, Google Assist, or however you stream in the house.
They debuted with an instant classic and continued to evolve. Dive in to Coldplay Radio and explore 2 decades of mega hits and magic moments.
How long before I get in?
Along with commentary from the band.
I think of us as one big family.
Coldplay Radio. Listen now for a limited time on the SiriusXM app, Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, or however you stream in the house.
Friday nights. A new era of WWE SmackDown is on Fox.
Oh my God!
Featuring your favorite WWE superstars, all ready to put the smack back in SmackDown. And don't forget, I'm still the big dog. Roman Reigns.
There it is!
New yard.
This is awesome!
Same rules. Believe that. Fridays won't know what hit it. Friday Night SmackDown at 8 p.m. on Fox.
2020 has been a gut punch to American business. And if you're going to succeed, you need every possible advantage. That's why savvy companies like Moink run on NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. With NetSuite, Moink has visibility and control over their financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything they need, all in one place. So they can deliver ethically raised, delicious meat to homes all across the country. Here's Moink founder, Lucinda Cramsey.
Feeding America is not a job I take lightly. I need to know how my numbers translate to food on folks' tables. So I ain't got no time for a math mistake. NetSuite is my single source of truth. Financials, inventory, and supply chain, all in real time. Americans depend on Moink to keep their families fed, so I depend on NetSuite.
NetSuite surveyed hundreds of business leaders and assembled a playbook called 7 Actions Businesses Need to Take Now. Receive your free playbook and schedule your free product tour at netsuite.com/need. That's netsuite.com/need.
Investors, want steady cash flow and safety? NRIA is making special accommodations to help at this time. Today, investors are extended a higher than normal 10% monthly payout return from our real estate-backed Class A Buildings Fund. You'll receive steady 10% monthly payments to your bank account, have real estate backing you, not just paper assets, and obtain returns with bonuses targeted at 18 to 21%. NRIA's 14-year track record and now $1.2 billion in new construction development backs you. You can also use your 401k or IRA to invest for monthly cash flow right now. Get 10% monthly electronic cash flow with total yields to 18 to 21% right now. Call before this special offer is over. Call 201-210-2727. That's 201-210-2727. An offer to buy or sell any security is only made by our private placement memorandum. Read it first. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Results are annualized. National is a real estate development firm. See us at nria.net.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company helps you customize your home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Unlike things you paid for you didn't need, like that much-needed 125-inch flat-screen TV.
It's hurting my eyes. A lot.
For your 100-square-foot bedroom.
My neck isn't so much stiff as it's completely stuck.
With Liberty Mutual, get customized home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Uh-oh, I'm seeing color splotches.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Ooh, this is a nice jazzy song. Well, if you record TV, you probably need a better DVR. I know I certainly do. That's why you should get Dish. It's TV's most powerful DVR. It's basically a master multitasker because it'll record up to 16 shows at once. Wow, 16. You ever tried doing 16 things at once? You'd probably have a meltdown. But the Hopper? Yep. It'll record so many shows. No meltdowns. And by meltdowns, I mean that thing that's like funk. Recording conflict. What? Good luck getting that from the Hopper. So now, instead of wasting time rescheduling recordings, you can work on the art of multitasking, like nodding while saying no or texting while walking. You know, we all have our little things we trip over. Just know that no matter what skills you master, the Hopper's got you beat. Record up to 16 shows at once. Just one more reason Dish is ranked #1 in customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. For J.D. Power 2019 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To learn more, dial 1-844, call Dish, visit dish.com, or find a local retailer near you.
The NHL is back with the Stanley Cup qualifiers, and you can hear every second of the action on Sirius XM. 24 teams have gathered in 2 cities, all with one goal: hoisting the most cherished trophy in sports.
The St. Louis Blues have won the Stanley Cup.
NHL Network Radio brings you all of the latest news, analysis, and insider info on Channel 91. Then, when the puck drops, listen to every spectacular goal, magical save, and board-rattling check on Sirius XM.
Friday nights. A new era of WWE SmackDown is on Fox.
Oh my God!
Featuring your favorite WWE superstars, all ready to put the smack back in SmackDown. And don't forget, I'm still the big dog. Roman Reigns.
There it is!
New yard.
This is awesome!
Same rules. Believe that. Fridays won't know what hit it. Friday Night SmackDown at 8 p.m. on Fox.
Covering a presidential election is a sacred trust.
And we take it seriously. We never stop working to get you the information you need.
From the caucuses to the conventions to election night and beyond. We're there for you, uncovering the stories that shaped the race,
tracking the candidates and the moments that matter most.
Because this election will decide the fate of our nation
and the future of the world.
Democracy 2020. It's in your hands. Fox News. America is watching.
The following is a public notice for people suffering with fibromyalgia symptoms. Researchers from the University of Illinois College of Medicine have developed the first definitive blood test for the biomarkers of fibromyalgia. Those who test positive may qualify for an FDA-approved clinical trial of a breakthrough symptom-eliminating treatment. Previously, a fibromyalgia diagnosis could not be confirmed. Now, participants can have definitive confirmation of this debilitating disease. The test is covered by nearly all insurance plans, and FM Test can even arrange to have your blood test done by a licensed medical professional in the comfort and security of your own home. If you suffer from chronic fatigue, mental fogginess, or chronic pain, it may be fibromyalgia. Take this opportunity to get the first and only definitive test. If you test positive, you could be among the first to receive a breakthrough treatment formulated to eliminate all fibromyalgia symptoms. Space is limited, so go now to myfmtest.com. That's myfmtest.com. myfmtest.com.
What do millions of Americans and 3 former U.S. presidents have in common? They all agree that Boll & Branch sheets are the softest and most comfortable sheets in the world. Missy and Scott Tannen started Boll & Branch to make the softest pure organic cotton sheets on earth. Boll & Branch cotton is rain-fed, pesticide-free, and carries the highest organic certification. That's why it's so soft. They work with family-owned mills all over the world to expertly weave every set of Boll & Branch sheets with the highest level of handiwork and craftsmanship. It's quality you can feel the moment you open the box. And because they sell direct to you, Boll & Branch sheets start at just $160. They're $1,000 quality for a fraction of the price. Plus, you can sleep on them for a month risk-free. And right now, you will get $50 off any sheet set at bollandbranch.com with promo code XM, spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com, promo code XM, for $50 off. bollandbranch.com, promo code XM. Restrictions may apply. See bollandbranch.com for details.
And now, Jim Norton and Sam Roberts return.
Tactics. Go ahead.
It was a combination. It was 2 of the Fat Boys. 2 of the
that's
Fat
right.
Boys. Yeah.
I had heard that the Fat Boys were back.
Yeah. They could never be whack.
That's why they were hired, actually.
They could never be whack.
They could never be whack.
Let's hear your answer.
Jay-Z wrote Dr. Dre's raps.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Yeah, because Ice Cube wrote most of his stuff in NWA, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And then Jay-Z came in and wrote on the Chronic 2001. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I also was educated on the Twitter robot that the reason, remember yesterday I was so confused because I could have sworn that the Chronic 2001 just came out in 2001 and that's why he called it the Chronic 2001.
Yep.
So apparently the plan was to drop the Chronic 2000 right at the end of 1999, which is when he dropped the album. But he had left Suge Knight, and Suge Knight, for whatever reason, owned the name The Chronic 2000. Like, I guess he was working on the album, and Suge Knight owned the name, so when he dropped the album, he just called it The Chronic 2001.
Oh, okay.
So that
makes
Suge
sense.
couldn't get it. That's what I believe that's what I read on a Twitter machine yesterday.
How long is Suge in jail for? I mean, obviously he might not ever get out at this point, but how long did he get?
I'm not sure. More than weeks.
Was it like 20 years, or is it life, or is it 25 to life? Like, he had a long
28
time.
years. That's what it says.
28 years.
How old
and
is
he's
he?
55.
83. That's if he does all 25.
It's not a death sentence, but
I mean, come on.
You know.
It was such an unnecessary. Was that when he ran the guy over?
He ran him. Yeah, he ran him. He did run a man over. Yeah. Well, running him. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
he wasn't in his way. Yeah.
He did enough time in jail. It's like it's almost like he's probably looking like, what the fuck was that? Like 20 more years. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I thought he was out. He wasn't. But the good news, Tekashi is free. Free. He's off house arrest. And he's been walking around New York City like he's been walking around New York City, number one, like there's no corona, and also like he didn't rat out a gang.
It makes gangs look, and I'm not advocating for anything bad to happen. I'm only saying that it's almost like mob informants. They always go into hiding for a long time and come back out. But if you're a mob informant and then a year later you're just walking around Brooklyn, I mean, I don't see how long that's going to last.
Doesn't seem like it would last long at all. Now,
Unless
Tekashi
it
is
makes the
walking
mob
around
look
with
bad.
security.
Of course.
He's walking around with security.
Yeah,
of course.
How many guys with him?
I read. Did you?
What?
I saw 3, but is it much more than 3?
He has 20 security guards.
20.
Yeah.
It is.
That's a
So
little much.
yes would be the answer. Much more than 3.
I mean, 20 security guards. I guarantee they're not all being paid. Some of them are probably just guys that want to be around them. But at least half of those guys are getting paid.
So when he's like walking around braggadociously getting ice cream, taking selfies with fans, doing all that stuff, he is safer than he lets on. Because he's literally got a gang of people that are only there to protect him. 20 people.
Yep. That's a lot of money going down the toilet. Like, you can't sustain that.
No, you got once you stop putting out hits, you definitely won't have money to pay that security anymore. Plus, probably not that much money left over from your hits.
Dude, 20 security guys. I mean, look, the option is 25 years in jail or 15 years in jail. So, I mean, whatever you're spending, who cares? You're out of jail. I mean, but there is a price on you, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know I don't know much about the Crips or the Bloods, but I'm sure they don't take kindly to that shit.
You wouldn't have to pay 20 security guards if you weren't walking around the city getting ice cream.
Yeah.
Like, it's part of the
maybe
act.
He doesn't do that often. Right? You're right, part of the act.
Yeah. And he can't tour right now. So he can't even make...
I don't know if he'll ever be able to
Maybe
tour.
he wouldn't. Yeah.
I don't think he can. He'll do virtual shows. I bet he could do That's the one thing about this pandemic is he'll probably do virtual shows you'll have to pay for. I don't see how he tours because even Rick Ross had a hard time at one point.
Yeah, but he can't look pussy.
He's got an image.
He's got an image. He
He'll
can't
tour.
I think he'll tour. Yeah.
No. I don't know if venues will have him. Venues will get threatened.
because it's too dangerous.
No,
Yeah, I mean, he
will
will
not.
did.
If there's threats of violence, they won't.
He'll pay the insurance.
He was banned from the Barclays Center before this.
It's fine. It's a terrible venue.
What are
I
you
don't
talking
think
about?
this
This is
is
a terrible
insurance
venue.
I
Why do you think Barclays is terrible?
I don't like the acoustics. I would much rather see a show at the Garden than Barclays. It just feels it feels hollow.
The sound is better at the Garden than the Barclays.
Yeah, if I'm gonna go hear music, I do care about the sound.
Ooh, shots fired, Jeff.
It sounds a little more crisp.
It does. It's
At
a
the
better
Garden
venue.
than at the Barclays. Oh my God.
It is. Nobody's excited to go see a show at the Barclays.
So, Sam, would you take a picture with Tekashi if you saw him out in public?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I probably would too.
Hell yeah.
He's not even wearing a mask,
I would post
bro.
that shit. I'd get corona from Tekashi. I'd be okay with that. And I come home, I tell my wife and kids, I got to live in the basement for 2 weeks. I got corona because I got to get this picture with Tekashi, but I got the picture is the point. Yeah, totally worth it. Yeah, 100%. I'm a Tekashi fan. You know, am I sitting in the car listening to the hits? Not too often. But, you know, I'll vibe to it when I put it up on YouTube, and I support what he's doing.
Very hard
I like
to sing along to those songs.
By the way, sorry to interrupt you. 22 people, and they are of ex-law enforcement, which I kind of figured they would be, because those guys are not afraid of shit happening, and they're not going to overreact if shit happens. And if even gangs are a little hesitant to go shooting at 20 ex-cops, I mean, that's a bad, even for a gang, that's a uncomfortable thing to do.
They're patient. They're just biding their time.
The gangs, you
there's
mean?
One quality you give gangs, it's patience. What are you talking about?
If you want something to work, I
shit.
I bet they're very patient.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
That's right. Here's the thing about Tekashi, though. He's not dumb, stupid, or dumb.
Huh?
That's right.
That's right. That's right. No, look, this guy's a professional troll, and I like the show. I'm on board for it. I wish he was on IG Live a little more often. But he probably doesn't want to know, doesn't want the world to know his whereabouts at all times. You know, those are probably very well orchestrated and choreographed. But he's making music videos in his living room. He's got Nicki Minaj with her titties out and everything. I mean, I support Tekashi. Not against the gang. You know, if the gang.
Yeah,
needs
well,
to
I
do what
don't
they
know,
gotta do,
Sam.
then,
Sounds to me like you're picking sides and you're lining up.
Although I don't know if these gangs are sitting there going like, "There's two people we got to get." Tekashi and Sam from Jim Norton and Sam Roberts. You said he liked Tekashi.
No, they're not going to get me. They gangs are fans of mine. So.
Oh yeah, no, I know that.
Oh my God!
Look at that.
I have
Lovely.
to change that immediately.
No, why? It looks awesome.
No, look great.
Jess, why
There
would
it
you?
is.
Jess, why would you?
Jim changed his background.
Jess
to
and I are
match
just
Jessica.
chatting in the weeds. Yeah, it's
Wait,
nice.
do you have the same background?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't like this one because the white one. There you are, the San Francisco.
I'll do the San Francisco because it's gay.
You have the same ones that I have. Hold on, I gotta fucking cool this up.
They're probably
That's better.
Probably default.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Nice. Lucifer's in the back. Jessica
How's that?
Jessica Kirson is here. Jessica, welcome.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. I didn't know you were coming right on. Jim and I were working on our virtual backgrounds.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
have
Well,
this
now
one.
Jim's
This is
got
nice.
Aurora Borealis behind him.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that one?
I don't.
This
I
time
think
of
it
year.
came with it. It's probably a normal. I don't think I downloaded it. The San Francisco bridge you have, which is lovely, the Golden Gate. I can see out of the corner. You got to adjust your computer just a wee bit. Other way. That's better. That's better. Yeah.
Honestly, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I know. But I do like,
this
these backgrounds. I think it's pretty cool that this technology exists that you can just kind of, and it's better like than it should be at this point. This pandemic has really fucking made everybody kind of realize how bad our background game was and improve it.
I like yours. I got to look for that.
I just like that the YouTubers who are all sitting in front of green screens for years are all going like, see, we told you guys. Now all these comics are buying up all the green screens.
I know. I got to think of some good things to put behind me because I downloaded a brick wall yesterday and I almost killed myself.
Let me see it. Let me see it.
Like a brick wall I can't do. Hold on, I'm looking for it.
Well, are you thinking like Comedy Cellar brick? Where'd Jessica? Oh, are you thinking Comedy Cellar brick wall?
Well, Comedy Cellar, I did get their background, but this is just a plain brick wall that looks really like it's been around forever.
You want to see a nice one, Jess? This is a nice one that I have. This
Wow,
is
look, the
tree and
waves are
beach.
crashing behind.
Isn't that nice? Doesn't that look?
Jim, yeah.
It looks like you're looking out my window. It's very good.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. Jim broadcasting from the beach.
It's
yeah,
nice.
that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
This one, yeah.
Jessica's back in space.
Yeah.
There she is.
But as
you see the
adults in
sun
our
peeking out from the earth.
late 40s, early 50s. I don't know how old you are. I'm 52, but like we really are old people with this shit. Like young people would be disgusted. Anybody who can hack Twitter would be disgusted at what we're doing right now. Look at these two old assholes teetling with their backgrounds.
Horrible. Oh, look, a wonderful bridge scene.
We really are fucking old. Oh my God! I'm in front. Look at the waves crashing, and you know.
I know. Don't forget to put sunscreen on.
And you just keep changing it for no reason other than you're having fun. You've never look at this technology behind me. Look at this. Oh wow, it's all happening.
And these come with it. Like these are so bad. Like they're so pathetic.
They
so
are.
vanilla.
You can download pictures. I mean, like, there's plenty of great pictures. Almost any photo you download, you can use. And, you know, I enjoy it. Do you have a green screen or is that just your wall? I guess you do have a green screen. You do. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And be honest, both of you, now, when you go on your Zoom calls, right, and you see people that clearly have the virtual green screen, how, like, Zoom can put the background behind you, but it's all choppy and it cuts off your
arm
hands
moves
and
into
stuff.
it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have a lack of respect for the people that do not have the green screens now that you two have your background game so tight?
I'll say this. It's a visceral hatred for people who don't have a green screen. People who are using the virtual background, I can see their arm bleeding in and out of. I hate them in a way that I never thought was possible for such a small offense.
Good.
It's so annoying. You're talking to them and then half their face is like in the picture. It doesn't work.
Because it's not
But I'm
necessary.
no pro. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's symptomatic of a bigger problem. That means that for the last 4 months, these people have been on Zoom calls with half their face cutting off, and they've done nothing to fix the problem. This is something that you know follows them around in their life. These are just people who see a problem and do nothing about it.
Yeah, they're lazy. They're fucking
lazy. Fucking lazy people with virtual backgrounds.
You know what? I bought a portable. I bought a portable green screen, which it's like
nice.
It comes in a. This is not the one on my wall. It hangs, but I bought a portable one that is like a circle or an oval, and it's really a weird technology. Like you open it, and the spring kind of goes perfectly into a giant oval.
I saw that
For photographers.
They're cool.
It took me. I literally still can't close it properly. Like, I'll try to close it. It will take me 40 tries, and then I finally get it. I don't know how I got it. And I'll say, let me do this until I can master it, and I'll reopen it, and it's another 40 tries. So I've never used it outside. I took it to a hotel once and wound up not using it.
Yeah, my
it's
kid.
reminding me of all the baby stuff I have. Like, I get so frustrated. You have to just press in one little button, and I like throw the whole carriage down the street. I get I have no patience with myself. I go right to you stupid idiot, you stupid fucking idiot. Everyone else can do this.
And you really do give up quickly. Like, I've had the same scenario where I'm trying to open up. My wife just goes, will you open up the stroller? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm ready to throw the stroller in the garbage so quickly. Because I'm like, well, this stroller just doesn't open. This one just doesn't open. And Jim, I know the exact thing that you're talking about because we got my kid a pop-up tent that has the exact same technology. Like, it has those, like, almost flexi metal wires that make it a circle so you can fold it and then it pops out.
Yep.
But I have sat there sitting on the thing trying to fold it up in the right way so I can slide it back into the case. And I can't. My kid to the point where my kid goes like, Dad, can we set up the tent? And I go, no, we're not setting up the tent. No, it's a no. It's a no, buddy. We're not doing it.
Yeah, it's crazy the anger, like, because it confirms, like, we all, like, this is the way everyone knows Jimmy Norton is a worthless piece of shit, so it just confirms it when I'm trying to close this green screen. This is everything we all knew, Jimmy Norton. You're just a piece of shit. Like, it's a crazy
Jimmy Norton.
Yeah, that's how I talk to myself. Little Jimmy Norton, piece of shit extraordinaire. Just can't close the fucking green screen. Like, it's crazy how your mind it taps into that well.
Yeah, I verbally abuse I mean, it's very bad. I'm like, you stupid fucking idiot, you loser, you stupid. I would never talk to anyone that way.
No,
I wouldn't, even an enemy.
I call myself slurs. I use slurs on myself that are accurate, by the way.
Like what?
I'll give you the initials, CSF, in that order.
Oh, but it does. You convince yourself that whatever you can't do, everybody else can do it just fine. It's just you. This is not a problem with the device.
There's person that can't do it. Yeah, that's in my mind. I'm the only person that can put something together.
I watched a tutorial and they close it and they can do it. Like, there are people that do it, and then there's one of Stephen Hawking doing it. I'm like, what the? How am I not closing this?
Someone who's just torso with no arms.
Yeah, look at that. He's biting the edge of it and it closes. How am I not doing this with my fucking hands? Suck.
And those just make you feel worse because you're watching this tutorial where the guy doing it is doing it so easily. And it's almost like you're going, oh, this is just for stupid idiots. Oh, he just made a video. In case you're not like me, in case you're a stupid idiot who can't do this, here's how you do this simple task. And you're like, oh. And then you try it again and you can't do it.
But it's also that I'm very impatient. It could be one little button and I get enraged if I don't find it right away. And then I just slam the thing. It's my father. I'm exactly the way I grew up around that.
And then you find the button. Somebody comes over and goes, you just click this. And it's so easy. And then you just go, that's a stupid place to put the button. That's a dumb place to put the button.
Is your father alive, Jess?
No, he just passed. He passed, not from the virus. He passed from the stock market. No, I'm joking. He passed from he passed from cancer like a month into this thing.
Oh wow! I'm sorry.
I've actually been doing a new bit because we did a shiva we did shivas on Zoom. You can't even imagine what these old Jews look like in the boxes. Just he was a wonderful man. Like they're all with fish. Like somehow there was no food and they all had fish on their mouth.
Isn't that a little easier than being in person, though? Isn't that nicer? Like you can just kind of zone out if you want.
Yeah, we were like, this is better. It's quick. We don't have to have all these people in the house, but it was really to watch people in the background just getting up, doing things, going to eat. It's like so.
Not realizing when they were on camera.
This whole thing would have killed him anyway. I mean, he was a major Fox News Trump guy, like very also with the pandemic. He wasn't really aware, but he would freak out from the pandemic because he was
How did he handle you coming out? Like, was it hard for him?
No, he had a hard time with that I would be treated bad. That was his big thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Which was unbelievable because he was really macho, Brooklyn kind of, but he really did not care. He said, "Is it my fault?" And I said, "Yes."
Yeah, that's exactly how it works, Dad. Yeah, yep, 100%.
That's fine.
So when you guys went through this change in your relationship, do you think to yourself, "Oh, maybe he's softening, maybe things will be different," and then you realize, "Oh, he accepts me, but he's still the same macho Brooklyn Trump Fox News guy"?
Yeah, I mean, that was more so because of, money stuff and Israel. Like, there's a lot of different factors. But he socially, he wasn't, he was pro-choice. Like, there was things that he was, but just couldn't deal with the, ultra liberals,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're difficult.
They are. So it's hard for me. I say those people make me more conservative.
Yeah, well, that's what happens as you get older. The younger people get more radically into that direction, and the older people become a little more conservative. Just I guess it's kind of the natural order of things.
Yeah,
I suppose. I still hate it, but it feels natural.
Like you're supposed to hate it?
Yeah, like you're supposed to be different. You're not supposed to be 15 and 19 and think the way I do at 52. You're not supposed to. It's weird if you do. I was like that. Like it's I didn't have technology and I wasn't some canceling little douche, but I was against everything. You're this man. That's how I was. I was 20 years old like that.
But I bet when you were 18, you would have been getting drunk, going on Twitter and trying to cancel everybody.
I would have been because that wasn't when I was 18. You were still fighting. You were trying to say rottener shit. Like I might have been trying to cancel people for other things, but I would have been trying to offend people more than cancel them.
Me too.
Because that's the direction you were.
That's
in.
the rebellion. That was the opposite.
I've always been the rebel. Yeah.
Yeah. But now the rebellion is don't say that. Now the rebellion is scolding naughty old person. Look what you said in 1984.
That's how you make your parents uncomfortable. Is you tell them that you can't say things, and then your parents. What do you mean? I was always able to say this. Like that's the new way your parents get uncomfortable because everybody's seen all the debaucherous nastiness. Like now it's taking stuff away is what makes the older generation uncomfortable. When your kids tell you you're not allowed to say that anymore, that's when it's like, what do you mean? What do you kids, you don't understand. Back in my day. Yeah, that's the new way.
It's really going to be interesting how it all pans out. Because it's not all or nothing. Like I completely 100% believe in free speech. I don't believe in canceling. I'm not on the side you think I am by saying that. It's really a screwed up weird time. I don't know.
If companies just stop giving into it,
it
will stop happening. Like that's all it is. Just people are worried about companies. People getting fired or like losing a gig you have. But once everyone's blaming, it's not even the cancel culture or young people. It's the fact that companies buckle to it. If companies didn't buckle to it, it wouldn't matter.
Yep.
Yes.
We always take the fucking blame off of them. Like, again, it's annoying, and I these bloggers, I can't stand them, but they're not making. It was like Sharpton. Al Sharpton never fired anybody. Al Sharpton just made noise until something happened. So if somebody doesn't react to it, then it doesn't matter. You can do it all you want.
That's so true, because everyone's like, well, Hollywood, and I'm afraid. And I'm like, I'd rather perform in a barn for the next 20 years every weekend than not say things so that and then I can't get a gig. I don't care. I can't, or else I can't do comedy. It's like, but it is always the companies, the big companies and the networks.
Yeah, it's like people think that the tweets, like, oh, the Twitter is the problem. But the problem is how seriously people take Twitter. Like, you could say whatever you want on Twitter. Who cares? But if networks or companies or Hollywood or whoever it was going, no, these are just a bunch of tweets. Like, who cares what they're saying on Twitter? Let's just keep business as usual instead of going, well, you know, the tweets will come in and the advertisers will see the tweets, and we can't have the advertisers seeing these tweets. We want to be able to explain to them that we've taken action. So now we're going to, and the advertisers too, like, for the advertisers to be like, we can't have our brand associated with these tweets. You're like, I mean, you're separated by multiple levels. You know, some guy says a thing on a show and people tweet about it, and then your commercial runs halfway through the break of that show. Nobody's sitting there going like, I don't get Pop-Tarts because I seen the commercial on that one show where the guy said the one thing.
Yeah.
You know?
It doesn't work that way. And the thing that people forget is, like, you always have more energy to attack than you do to defend. So the reason cancel culture works is literally because the rest of us are lazy and not doing what we need to do to fight it, which is anytime you want to fight something, if people boycotted any advertiser that reacted to that shit, all of a sudden, advertisers would stop reacting to it.
That's
like,
true.
when you look at what happened with Sean Hannity, and they were fucking, Keurig was fucking with him, or going to pull out. People were throwing their Keurigs out the window. And you know what the stupid Keurig did? They immediately backed off because they realized, oh, there's a penalty for giving in to this stupid mob and taking our product off of Sean's show. Like, Hannity fans were actually proactive and showed Keurig, like, if you don't advertise with Sean because these people are complaining about him, we're not going to buy your product either. And then they realized, oh, okay, these are people who have our product that are telling us to go fuck ourselves. So the fact that nobody does that is because we're lazy. So we should stop pretending that it's this mutt and cancel culture that we're just being run over by, when the reality is none of us are willing to do what is necessary to combat it, which is to simply not use the products of any advertiser that gives into it. If people were organized that way, it would overwhelmingly stop it.
Yeah.
And how much of a bummer is it too if you're a company selling coffee machines and you just go on the internet and you see a bunch of videos of people throwing your coffee machines out the window? That's not the way. You don't want to wake up and see that.
And as a consumer, even if you've paid for a machine, how good does it feel to see a coffee machine land in a driveway? Do you know how great that must be? Even if you love your coffee machine, to see it hit the driveway and shatter, that'd be great.
Yeah. I don't listen to Sean Hannity or have a Keurig machine, and I did want to buy a Keurig machine so I could watch it being flung out my window. It just seemed like a fun thing to do.
Just to break it.
Like, there's got to be something else we can boycott that I have. There's got to be something I can smash to show the world that I care.
I find it so insane that people were smashing their coffee machines. Like, so dramatic. It just so dramatic.
Yeah, they thought the show was going to go away. I think the people saw the advertisers started leaving. They were like, oh, fuck. This is going to be a problem.
So they smashed their coffee machines.
And it worked.
And it is a great visual. I will watch out to this day. If you say, like, hey, look on YouTube, there's a video of somebody smashing their coffee machine, I'll watch that. I'll take a look.
Yeah.
How much does it suck, though, if you smash your coffee machine and it only gets 2 likes and no retweets? Like, how embarrassing. Like, what the fuck did I do that for? I have no coffee. I'm cranky and anonymous.
You have to drink tea.
Cranky and anonymous.
But, you know, I want to go out and get a... I have this this coffee machine I had that's not working, so I've been just using a coffee pot for a while, and I hate it. I hate my fucking coffee. I hate it. Why don't I just go out and buy one of those? Like I'm like, I don't know. Just buy it. I fucking hate it.
What don't you know about?
dude. I've been like, well, I don't want to waste the money. I'm going to throw this piece of shit that I'm looking at right now. And by the way, it's a mirror. I'm going to throw that I'm going to throw that coffee pot in the garbage.
You should throw it out the window.
I can't. I'd kill somebody.
How great would it be if you went out?
Point, how great it would be.
How great would it be if you went out to your balcony? Yeah, you just dropped it 30 stories to the ground.
Yeah, a coffee pot.
Oh, the sound that would make. Whoa! Somebody jumping back as the glass shattered.
Ow!
Yeah, I don't realize they have 3 kids in tow. I couldn't see behind the awning. I blind 3 kids.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Yeah, Jim, are you really worried that at the end of the year, you'll be looking at your finances going, I shouldn't have bought that Keurig?
It's great, but that's the irrational, weird thing when you have to make a weird little decision.
Yeah.
Like, I hate my coffee pot. I hate it. And it's annoying me. It takes a long time. The coffee is rotten after 1 cup because it sits there. Like, I like a little fucking thing that I have. Bob Eatman, rest in peace, gave me a great machine that I loved, which eventually broke down, which was the espresso makers. I forget the...
Yeah, they're great.
Yes.
You know what you should get? An Nespresso maker. Nespresso.
That's what it was. Nespresso. I'm sorry, it was Nespresso.
They're great. They're great because you can have regular coffee. You can make espresso. I love them. Yeah.
A little capsule. Show you who's
Look at you, Jim. Capsule. It sounds like you got a whole day planned out for yourself. Sounds like somebody's going coffee maker shopping today.
It's like I will say, Daddy's going to zip out and grab himself a coffee maker. People hate when I refer to myself as Daddy in the third person.
That's what my dad did. I'm 50. I swear. Daddy loves you. Daddy's proud.
Was it hard for him to say, I love you? Or is that just the way a dad talks? I don't know. I'm not a dad, so.
No, he would say, I love you. He had a hard time at the end, which is interesting, saying anything like emotional, which surprised me. I thought he'd say something like, take care of yourself. I wish you the best. He just could not go there. So
what did he say?
He was like, just like, get me out of here. He was ready to go. He was like, I'm still here kind of thing. It was just horrible. He just wanted, that's why when he passed, I was like, oh, thank God he's out of his misery.
Oh, he was just in constant pain.
Yeah. And he was irritable. Like I was feeding him and he'd be like, not doing it the right way.
Yeah.
So I dumped it on him and,
What was the last thing he said to you? It was probably it wasn't some big deep thing, or was it just like, again, a common, hey, my spoon's over there, or was it some weird total thing a person says that has no connection to anything?
I think I made sure to say I love you when I was leaving because I knew in the next day or two. And he may have mumbled love you too. There was one point when I said, love you, Dad. And he's like, love you. How many times are you going to say that? Like he just couldn't go there a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I'm being scolded on his deathbed.
Yeah, it's because it's I guess for him, it means I'm really going to be dead soon. Like when everyone's telling you they love you, it's like, oof.
Well, we felt bad about that. Like one person after the next was like, oh, well, Dad, thank you so much. He was like, he didn't love it. This is hilarious. We had an aide come in but she was laying on the floor next to him on a cot.
Oh.
And
thought she was just lazy and a lousy aide. She's terrible. The agency did not send her again. She's sleeping under the bed.
We had to carry her around on a cot. He didn't realize she was there, and he woke up in the middle of the night, and then she sat up next to him on the floor, and he started screaming like thought there was a robber in the house. He was like, Karen, to my stepmother, and he's like, is the safe closed? He had no idea who she was, but. Yeah, it was a weird experience, I got to tell you, because he wasn't, when I've been around people who've passed, they've been pretty vulnerable, and he was not.
Yeah.
He was pissed, which is different.
Pissed about the whole thing. Wow.
How long was he sick?
Not long. He got October to, what was it, April. Wow. He had pancreatic cancer.
Oh, that's the pancreas which is why Alex Trebek is so amazing too. The fact that he's still going. It was stage 4 immediately. Yeah. I think they don't notice till still stage 4, right?
No, they don't. That's the problem. You don't even know. You don't have no symptoms. And then, my dad is married to a woman who's almost 20 years younger. So my stepmother is much younger. And that was kind of, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
How did he know
Yeah, but
something was wrong? Was it a regular checkup or was he feeling shitty?
Back pain, like bad back pain, because there was a tumor.
Oh.
And then it spread to his bones and his liver. It was like, at that point, there's nothing. He tried chemo for a while, but he was not great with that kind of stuff. He just would rather just not go through a ton of that and just pass.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he came back from the dead and he realized it was August and we're still all quarantined up and he's like, what the fuck, still? Still? I was sure that I was going to die and everybody was going to go back to normal and everything. Still?
And he passed with us wearing masks and gloves. What a weird time, right?
Really weird time.
So weird. I was thinking about it, 78 years old, very, in business, for 60 years doing business and, had to have only 5 people at a funeral and wearing masks. It was so weird. It was strange.
Yeah. I went to a funeral probably a month ago at this point. My wife's grandfather died. And it's just so weird because there's this added tension of being at the funeral. You know how every time you leave the house, there's that little bit of tension where you're like, I don't want to get corona. I don't want to get corona. And it's just there, and everybody's got different ideas of how to get it and how to avoid it. And so everybody's kind of just on edge and just, having to deal with the loss of a family member. But then at the same time, bickering about whether you should go inside or outside. Well, we're going to stay outside. Will you stay inside? You're just like, this is so... What a weird time for anything else to be happening.
Yeah, it was really, really weird. And I never realized, just as a Jewish person, how important Shiva is. You don't realize things until you're older, like we were saying. I was like, okay, Shiva, you go to someone's house and you talk about them for a couple of days and you eat. But it's so weird to go through that and not be able to be around people or hug someone or, Rachel Feinstein drove to my house and then left food on my curb and we were just talking 6 feet apart. This was the beginning. So it was so sad. We both felt sad that we couldn't even hug or anything.
What'd she bring you?
She brought treats for the kids, and
Did she make them or buy them?
She brought them, but she brought a challah and also a pie. She did a good job.
What's a
challah?
A
lot.
It's a bread.
Oh, it's a bread, challah?
Yeah, she brought a challah. She also
I don't know what a challah is.
Oh, a challah. It's the bread, you've definitely had it. It's a Jewish bread, kind of sweet. You've never had
yellow on the inside and not glazed on top, but shiny. It's like you rip it off, it's like a bun type of bread. It's delicious.
It's covered in gold.
There's so much stuff about Jewish culture I don't know. It's funny, and as many of my friends are Jewish, I the Orthodox Jewish women wear wigs a lot of time. I never knew that. I would notice the haircuts were very similar, but I just thought, all right. I truly didn't know. And then somebody's like, I said something about a woman's haircut. It just looked weird on her. And she goes, that's a wig. I'm like, what do you mean? They're all wearing wigs. I'm like, oh, that's why the haircuts all look alike. I literally had no idea that they all wore wigs. And I'm like, I had heard something about Jewish women don't show their hair. Do they shave it?
That's religious. I didn't grow up like that. Yeah.
Right. So for Orthodox, they don't cut their hair off, right? It's just a wig does not show their. It's like wearing almost like a burqa, but it's not a burqa.
Yes. And it's really so that men it's to be modest so that men don't get turned on. I've been talking about it a lot.
That works well with those wigs because I literally my dick would not function with one of those wigs. I'm so stupid though. How did I not know? I was like, it's the same hairdo on a lot of these ladies.
You're right. It's the exact same straight.
Yeah.
None of them are wavy or short. You're right. They're literally all the same length, straight hair. And by the way, some of them are worth $10,000. You have no idea.
Are they really?
Really?
Oh, some are worth so much money. It's insane.
But wigs smell. Like, you ever kiss somebody on the neck and they're wearing a wig and they have that dried sweat wig smell? I fucking hate wigs.
Jimmy,
Unless
you've
you
probably
change your
experienced
wig
that.
every day.
You've probably experienced that more than the rest of us, I would think.
You have no idea how many wigs I've dealt
someone
with.
on the neck who's worn a wig.
Oh boy, I guess we live different lives. But let's just say when when you're kissing over well-defined traps onto a neck, and you smell a.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't
when
like
you're
the
kissing a
smell of
lady,
wigs.
when you're kissing a lady on the neck, you have to brush her wig aside, and you get scraped by the stubble that's left there from when
That
she
will
shaved.
happen occasionally. Yes. I just don't like wig smell. I don't like it. It's a weird smell.
I'm sure they smell. And plus then they have to cover their collarbones and their elbow. I just think it's so funny. Like, who's attracted to someone's elbow? I just don't.
Yeah. Like, oh man.
Yeah, nothing
Look at the
gets
knees
me
on
harder
her.
than an elbow.
Yeah. Look at the joints on that one, huh? Oh, yeah, I want to see me some knuckles.
It's just, I've done a lot of
bizarre.
shows for them. It's so interesting. So
Modi is the king of those, and I know Elon Gold does. I'm fascinated by it. Fascinated because it's a world that I have no knowledge of.
Yep.
And yet, and I watch Modi does a character on his Instagram called Yoli, I think, which is
so familiar.
It's very funny, and it's really interesting to me to watch in and out of Yiddish and English. And this is how this character is probably a very good representation.
Yeah.
And I'm dying to go see him perform at one of these shows. Like, I want to watch someone who is, like, he was going to be a rabbi, I think, at one point. So I would love to see somebody who is working the women on one side, the men on the other, like, who's doing a show with such Orthodox people. What does that look like as a comedy show?
The fact that they can do it so well is outstanding. It is the hardest. There's no harder crowd.
Really, it is hard.
The fact that they can do those, because I haven't done the ones where they're separated. Like, I've done modern Orthodox shows where they have the wigs and whatever, but it's not like they have to be separated. I would love to watch that too, because that is, to me, impossible. I don't get how he does it. Or they
do you do well
it.
in front of those crowds?
What?
Do you do well in front of those crowds?
I would die if I had to do it with them separated. No, I don't do very well. I mean, I do them, but they're tough because to them, like a woman, you're not supposed to have a lot of power.
Yeah.
So, and it's like women aren't funny. It's not, or in that culture, women are not encouraged to be funny and tell jokes.
Right.
It's the men. So it's weird. There's always this weird feeling when I go up in front of them.
He tells me punchlines sometimes. Like, I'll ask him, give me a joke that you do that would only kill in front of an Orthodox crowd. And you can tell it's a great joke. But the thing is, like, no, that means bread box in Yiddish. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know. But it's just, it has no connection to me at all because I don't understand the words. But I'm dying to see him do that because I think he's the best at those. Or either him or Elon. But I would love to see them do that.
I would love to see them do it too, because I've never seen those crowds laugh a lot. And I'll say to the Orthodox people, aren't you supposed to be happier because you pray all day? Like, I thought praying makes you happier. You look fucking miserable. You look like you've never once connected to God or anything. So it's just interesting to me. They spend their whole lives praying, and there's never a ton of laughter. Have you ever seen you might not know, but I've never seen an Orthodox person, like someone who's ultra Orthodox, laugh really hard, ever.
Doubled over laughing?
Ever. No.
Yeah.
I don't think I have. I mean, I've seen a million Orthodox Jews walking around, and the only time you interact really like on any is like, in like you go to B&H, and the most, I mean, but the thought you have at B&H is Orthodox Jews run the best store in the world. Like they literally, no one is more informed about products than B&H employee. It's like every employee there knows what the fuck they're talking about, is helpful. knows where something is, can recommend a product. The product gets exactly where it's supposed. I'm like, that's my impression of doing any business with Orthodox Jews is they run the best store on the fucking planet.
Mm-hmm. And the infrastructure too. The infrastructure of finding where your product is, of getting it to where it needs to be. Even when you pick up an order online, like it's amazing how that store is set up. And then you go into like a Target, and you're like, should I ask an associate for help? You know what? I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
Because they're going to look at you like, I don't even know what you're talking about, dude. Hey, do you have any of this in stock? Like, what do you mean?
You can go online, find it online.